Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness. Business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve, Ramona, and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. I am so fired up to have you join us today. We want this podcast, or we developed the podcast, to explore the idea of servant's heart, doing that in your life and in your business, hopefully both. One works, but if you can do both, and they're going to cross over, trust me, I've talked to many great guests like I'm going to have today that talk about this. But what impact and difference will you make when you do that? I get to do it daily with my guests and people I run into. Think about how it changed your life when you do it daily. The other thing is our guests are going to motivate you, inspire you, and educate you towards that servant's heart in many different ways, through stories, to their product or service, or just being good people. As we talked about before the show, being kind. Nice is okay. Let's be kind. So I'm going to steal that from him. I'm going to give it right back to him when I bring him back. And I want to give you all a call to action today while you're listening to my great guest. How are you going to serve yourself, and who are you going to serve today? And think about the impact you're going to create today. What difference are you going to make? So powerful. To guarantee you're going to feel great when you do that. And I want to thank my sponsor, Pantheon Alliance. Imagine being part of a group of entrepreneurs, high-income earning guys and girls that want to change the world, to make an impact in the world and help you grow your business. For more information on the Pantheon Alliance, just reach out to me and I'll get you all the information and links you need. With that being said, my guest is interesting in a good way, because tech is so all over the place now, everywhere, but a lot of the tech companies are not kind. And I shouldn't say a lot, but aren't, because you sign up for this thing, then you talk to robots. Hey, it doesn't work here, it's there. And that's okay. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but where's that human-to-human connection where we can be kind? So with that being said, let's welcome Ben Johnson to the show. Ben, welcome.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thank you so much.
Talk about kind in technology. I really think it's missing, but that's just me.
Sure. Yeah, we just think that, I run a company with 150 engineers. And so we are really clear on our mission to serve customers by deploying elite teams. And elite is empowering leadership, teamwork, innovation, and excellence. So we spell the elite acronym. And really what we're centered around is being kind with each other. Feedback is so important. And nice people won't tell you what they really think, right? They'll just, I'm going to be nice. I'm going to kind of leave it be. And that is not the culture that we create. So we say, let's be kind, but not nice. The way I also say it, and this always gets me a little bit of flack, is I care about you. But because I care about you, I can't be concerned with your feelings. So your feelings, they're kind of your responsibility. But the truth will, as they say, set us free. So we really focus on that in the way that we execute technology services. And we, if I told you, if I ever write a book, it'll be about the difference between being kind and nice.
I love that, because I was taught a phrase 4 years ago, and you'll like this. What you think about me is none of my business. Your feelings are none of my business. They're yours, deal with. And I love that, because it's really changed my life, because we're not going to please everybody, especially in technology.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and I think there's, I don't need to be up in anybody's business. A lot of times if you're having a grudge towards someone, or you kind of have a thing, it's because they occur to you a certain way. And you can kind of think of it. My brother is a chef. He loves to be a chef. And it was really something on me to think that he should be doing something else. He should be making more money or be like, I'm up in his business at that point. And then this past summer, he came over and taught my 9-year-old how to cook. And I just observed, his intentionalness and his love for cooking, and he occurs to me differently now. And so I'm certainly more kind to him when he comes over, and I want to be around him more. So sometimes we just get up in people's business, and I don't think that serves us well.
Well, to have a chef in the family, kudos, because that would
There
be, I'm
you
thinking
go.
as
There
you're
you go.
talking,
Yeah,
like,
it's all
there's a big
upside.
benefit to that. Besides your daughter, your family and everybody. So I know who's cooking Thanksgiving, I'm sure, or most of it, it's the brother. Particle 41, cool name. When I first saw it, I think it's Star Trek, Star Wars, the sci-fi stuff. I know it's not. What's your mission with Particle 41?
So my mission is to deploy elite teams for future thinking businesses and build the world's best products. We love, so that even the name Particle 41 is from the 41st element of the periodic table, niobium. And it's added to steel, and it makes steel stronger, and it makes it anodizable. So when you go to a petroleum engineering plant, or you see like a lot of the pipe will have like a blue sheen to it. It looks pretty good. And that pipe's been, the alloy has the 41st element in it. And so as I was looking for a name and I saw that, and I kind of understood that as part of the foundry process, we kind of adopted that name, Particle 41.
Love that name. Now audience can go check it out. I'm going to go check it out after the show. It just sounds cool. Particle 41. If you're a sci-fi, people out there like, what the hell are you talking about? Well, that's my jam. So don't go up in my business. No, I'm half kidding. Because you do kindness in your business, and we talked about before the show. What's a tip or two you can give the audience that own businesses, whether an entrepreneur or a massive company, to be more kind in business?
Well, I'm actually going to answer that question in a weird way. If you think of a special operator, imagine the special operators before they go out on a mission. They go to the TAC, they get armed up, they get ready for the mission. And as they leave the base, they pass the guard gate. And the guard gate, he has to open the gate for them. But here's all these, rowdy, listening to heavy metal special operators in the truck. And they're not thinking that there might be danger when they go out. They're actually going to cause the danger. They're going to make the impact. And the guard gate, he kind of wishes he was them, right? And so in our business, we're really focused on getting the folks inside of our plenty to think of themselves as the men inside the truck, as the special operators that are going out to create business, not the toy soldiers that all look the same and kind of beat to the drum and take orders well. We really we want our team to see themselves as the people inside the truck. And when that happens, we know that there will be impact. There will be an elite force that's going out and we're aligned to the client's mission. The client is giving us the mission that we're leaving the base to go execute. And then lastly, we're trained in training. So we are going to eventually leave the mission field, leave the battlefield. And when we do, we want the clients that we serve to know how to get the full value of the things that we create. So we're not going to hoard the information. We're going to openly share it, and we're going to be trained in training. So that's just a mental metaphor for how we action elite and how we're kind as we serve our clients.
Yeah, I'm just picturing guys, SWAT teams, and which is an elite team that, they're the shows you see, and they're talking back and forth, hitting each other, pounding the wall. I could see, of course, you're not doing that with your team, but it's like you said, it's the imagery. So how do you train this? I mean, some guy's listening, he's got a team, and he's like, that sounds wonderful. How do I get my team to feel that?
Yeah. So how I do it is I don't like to micromanage, but there's one thing that I micromanage, and it's the culture. And so we
Mhm.
looked for, how are people grouped within the company already? Well, obviously they're already grouped into these client focused missions. So we have client teams, and we have the team leader, and that was really great. But the team leader is almost so focused on the client initiative that he doesn't, he's not aligned to take care of his team well and do some of the people things. So we have another cross section. We call it squads. Squads are aligned to a practice area. So software developers are together on a squad, cloud engineers are together on a squad. And some of our squads have the benefit of being, they're smaller, so they have the benefit of being both a practice and a squad all at the same time. So I hope I'm
Mhm.
not being confusing.
Not at
But
all.
then they are from all of the client teams. So they're bringing the intelligence from these different missions back into and saying, you know what? This is the best way to execute this particular type of mission. So when we build a data pipeline or we're building a mobile app, this is what we've learned. And so those folks are really considered on the practice, the community of excellence, the best practices approach to that particular technical discipline. And this also allows us a framework for where we can talk about what it means to be elite. So my squad leaders meet with me once a month on a 90-minute meeting, and I go through an agenda with them, and then they take that agenda back to their squads, and they do a small group experience or discussion with their squad. So we just realized that we needed another way to implement culture, and really thinking about that small group professional forum or a mastermind internally was the way that we approached that.
Yeah, what I'm seeing is just Super Bowl's coming up. It's February 4th. It's NFL teams, defensive coordinators, the squad leader, the offensive coordinator. If you most of you know sports or NFL, and you got your head coach, that would be you. Head coach delivers information to the coordinators deliver it to the players take care of it themselves. So communication is well patterned out, right?
Yeah. Well, and if you look, you could use the NFL metaphor really well, because yeah, you'd have your offense and your defense, and they're probably doing their individual things. But then inside of an NFL team, you might have physical therapy or recovery or fitness. You'd have these kinds of cross sections running across all of the teammates and saying like, hey, this is the best way, making sure you jump in the ice after the game within 24 hours of the game is the best way to recover. And other guys are saying, yeah, I do that and it works for me. So, in any kind of professional team, you have not only an execution cross section, like how you score points in the game, but you also have some kind of like personal kindness type of cross section. And I think that's really important, because let's face it, our teammates are not tools, they're not tractors. Our teammates are human beings, and so we need to make sure that we're approaching the being side, not just the doing side of leadership.
Sounds like communication and listening are huge skill sets in this for you and everybody. I want the
Absolutely.
audience to hear that, because that, I think, is the other component to all this. How do you work that into this?
That's great. So yeah, we have our employee engagement head, our HR person, and HR split into recruiting and employee engagement. And anytime we can manage to collect, and we're constantly asking the team for feedback, that goes into a list. It's considered on every leadership meeting, because what I want to do is, if I get feedback, I want to immediately turn around a response. My team is 100% globally remote. So content creation has become a huge part of my weekly daily life. I can turn around from my desk, turn on a camera, execute a video, and send it out on Slack as fast as I can speak it. And I've kind of got into be the master of the one take, just one take. Hey, this is something you all need to know, and get that out to the team. So I think that the requirement for leadership is to listen, ask for feedback, listen to the feedback, and then communicate, almost in like a never-ending cycle. And as we get used to what is most likely a fairly remote world for a while, you have to find new ways to do that.
You sound like a news anchor.
Thank you.
In a sense, updated news. Hey, this just happened.
Absolutely.
And you could probably do this with parts of the team. You don't do it for the whole company all the time. It sounds like maybe you do the whole company.
Yeah, sometimes my video is just for the squad leaders or just for the team leads. Absolutely. And I'm encouraging all the teammates to do that.
Technology's big innovation. Today with AI and, I'm 63. So when I got my first cell phone in 85, it's a long time ago, but cell phones have changed and everything has changed. How can a company stay up with innovation to keep them successful?
Sure. Well, I'll plug, that's what fractional CTOs are great for.
Yeah.
Helping you understand that. One of the things we do is we just look at the IT landscape. We have created this periodic table of business tools where like collaboration tools are in a column. Maybe your AI tools are in a column, and we help you evaluate like what tools do you already have? How does the customer experience touch those tools? And then what tools might you be missing? We're in kind of a post SaaS renaissance where there's an app for that. There's a subscription service. I was talking to a buddy who installs Autoglass. He has a CRM. There's a CRM that the Autoglass manufacturer makes. And so like leverage that. They were nice enough to give him direct database access so that he could implement business intelligence himself. So as you're navigating, it's more of like, hey, what's possible? And then looking at the available tools on the market. Now, I'll say there's a limit to that. So as you get closer to the customer, the more you're going to want to customize. And if you try to put your CRM tool sets in front of the customer, or you're just kind of off the shelf software, out of the box software's touching the customer, it's always going to fall short. So just be prepared as a business owner that the edges that touch the customer are the place you got to spend some time and be super intentional and be open to going custom, given that the existing tools just can't be configured to your full needs. And know that you may feel limitations from those off-the-shelf softwares when it comes to the specific customer experience that you want to generate. And we help people just navigate that whole decision matrix.
I love the navigation because I talk to a lot of companies. I think, and this is audience, my opinion, Ben's going to love it. The CTO is probably the most important aspect of all this because you can lose the most amount of money on a CRM and spend $100,000 and it doesn't work. That's gone. Yeah, you can have marketing, you can have sales, and there's mistakes, and then the flip side, what are you missing out? Let's just use AI. It's the elephant in the room. Talk about both sides of that. The loss of money, three things. The loss of money, the gain of income because you're using the right tool, and three, the culture, because I talk to companies that force feed CRMs and their staff's like, I hate this thing. And then you probably hear it all the time. Talk about that.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, definitely you don't want to be, I think a business owner's biggest concern should be falling behind. So how can we make sure that you don't fall behind? Making sure that there's alignment between your technology offering and your go-to-market strategy, and even are there technologies I can use to have better touch with my customers? And do I have data to help me make decisions? These are all things that a CTO can help you with. And I'm I'm a CEO myself, so I speak CEO to CEO. I have a scorecard that will help you, like, hey, is there a part of the regular CEO thing that's falling off here, so that you can really focus on what is that differentiator for your customer and help me understand your vision for that. And then a CTO can, of course, help you execute that once they're aligned to the vision of the company. So a lot of great groundwork that helps you imagine what's possible. And really, as high functioning business owners, if we can ask the question, what is possible, and get onto that vision, like have a glimpse of that, then there's really nothing stopping us.
Yeah, if you want to scale, grow is good, but scale is much different. If you don't know technology, you don't know marketing, and it's across the board, find a fractional audience, because you could hire Ben part-time, a month, year, whatever that is, to clean it up if it's bad, or to increase it if it's good and needs to be better. That's what I love about that. You're not locked in, and you know you've got somebody, you work with Ben for a couple months and this won't happen, but it doesn't fit. Well, then you go find somebody else. It's kind of,
yeah. Right? To hire a full-time CTO, typically you're going to give up some equity. You're going to pay, it's going to be one of your larger salaries, probably really close to some of the sales salaries or sales commissions that you're paying. And you don't need to do that with a fractional. You don't need to give equity. You don't need to pay the full-time salary. But you can get some of the best advice. So yeah, fractional resources, when you're growing and scaling, can be an awesome way to make sure that you're building a blue chip company.
I love tech. I've been doing tech since I built my first computer in '79. So you're speaking my heart singing right now. This is for entrepreneurs, because I work with a lot of entrepreneurs. People think, oh, this is for medium, large companies, but that entrepreneur, same thing, right? Not that you work with them, but talk about tech and innovation with them.
Yeah. So I love talking to, my heart is in startups. I've built 5 startups from start to exit. And so I love 0 to 60. So I have a real heart for people there. And so some of the things that I feel like really helps is just getting really clear on your vision. Really clear on your vision. Why am I doing this? Opportunism at a startup stage will almost always kill a new venture, but being super laser clear on what your vision is, who you serve, how you serve them, will almost always help. And I've also really, in the last couple of years, I've seen this trend where the startup ideas like to be the Uber of something. And so they end up with this idea that wants to serve both the supply and the demand. And then they come to technology and they say, well, we need to, they'll try to start serving the demand side, and then they'll move over to the supply, and they kind of move back and forth. So let me give you an example of this. Buddy came to me and said, I want to start an Uber for broke down semis. It's a huge problem. There's not really a single national brand that helps broke down semis. And I want to be the one where they go on the app and I say, hey, I need roadside assistance for my truck. And somebody comes. That's a great idea. Why not just hustle it up? So why not create the demand side and create a service first, prove out the business model with a service? And so I guess the short way of saying this is, don't be afraid to hustle. Don't be afraid to operate with some human capacity and run a good operation, and then tech enable that operation over time. You may end up in the same place, but you'll make the first dollar much, much sooner, and you'll lower your investment costs. So don't be afraid to hustle and tech enable, because the tech enablement will go much faster and you'll be much more stable and confident in your business idea once you see revenue coming in. And as we've come out of the SaaS renaissance, the idea of raising money is just completely shifted. So, think of how you can make your first buck, even if you got to do the work yourself.
Yeah. And that's the cart before the horse. Don't put the tech before you. I love that. Make some money that first year or two. When you get to the point, then you hire a Ben and go rock and roll. I love it. That audience right there, $1 million tip from $1 million man right there. Because it's simple to do. It's the mindset that you have to deal with.
You get started on some huge things like go to market. What are my keywords? Who am I advertising to? What's my offer? You get in, these are like huge questions that should be answered by a startup. But I've seen numerous folks like, no, I have to build the tech first. And then they delay some of that go to market activity until it's too late. And I would not want that to happen to anybody hearing this.
Plus, you can make the money and pay for the tech after.
That's right.
Pay for a guy like you to come in.
That's right.
So we're coming to the end here. Time flew. I knew it would. When you talk tech with me, it's going to fly. Let's end with a fun question. I like to do a little improv at the end. So I've reserved a table at a restaurant for you, a table of 4. You're obviously going to sit in one of the chairs. In the 3 empty chairs, who would you invite, dead or alive? Why would they be invited to the table? And more importantly, what food would you order?
Oh, that's what food would we order? Because I mean, it'd be great to have Jesus at the table. I would love to
Amen.
have a meal with him. Um, I would also love to initiate a conversation between. I'm just going to answer this funny, like him and Steve Jobs would be great.
Oh my
Uh,
God. Yeah.
and then probably somebody like Aristotle or a Stoic,
Yeah.
throw them in there. And then I probably order something like fish and chips just to just to tick people off,
There you go.
just to be difficult, some kind of simple food.
You definitely think outside the box, and you got to as a tech guy. It's so awesome. And I'd love to see Steve Jobs argue with Jesus and Jesus go, I'm praying for you, brother. I'm
Yeah, right.
because I'm sure Jobs would do, no, you can't do it that way. Well, Ben, thank you so much. I've learned a lot about what you do and how you really serve with kindness. And audience, remember that, serve with kindness. It's okay to be nice, but serve with kindness. How can people reach out that want to talk to you more about innovation?
Oh, so I am, yeah, thanks for asking that. So, my LinkedIn has a book appointment link on there. So I'm extremely easy to find to book time with. Particle41.com also has that set appointment link, and those appointments come straight to me. So my calendar is available to the world. All you have to do is click a button, and I would love to talk to anyone who's heard this and just wants to connect and see what makes sense.
It's a servant's heart right there, audience, giving out his calendar link for everybody. That's what I do. That's what you should be doing. Don't hide and give away all your free IP. He's going to give you advice and tips, whether you hire him or not. He's going to help you, and that's what we need to be doing in the business world, especially today. Also, too, here's your call to action: subscribe to the YouTube channel, and here's why. This podcast is a gift. People go, "What do you mean gift?" Well, if you're talking to a buddy that's got a startup or has a company that's struggling, especially with tech, well, share this link about Ben. You can hear his passions, what he's doing, learn more about Ben before you even meet him. And then you give the link, he reaches out to Ben, and maybe he hires Ben, or maybe Ben gives him a couple tips. Well, guess what? You just helped your friend or person you met, whoever. That's why podcast gifts are a link, whether it's this podcast or any others. That's how I look at it. So go ahead and subscribe and share and comment on the YouTube channel, which will come out in a couple of days. And if it's for Ben, I'll make sure he gets it. With that being said, me and Ben want to thank you all so much for watching and listening to this podcast. And we'll see you all in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.